watching the Batter Fans Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 41 of the Battle Heat Fans Podcast. I'm your Dave Garana, and alongside me, as always, Mr. Daniel Solana. How are you doing, sir?
Freezing. I'm absolutely freezing. I'm in New York, Danny, and it's like 15 degrees outside. But other than
It's
that,
lovely.
in Miami, Danny, it is scorching hot right now. 4-game winning streak. You beat the best team in the East, and I guess that makes us the best team in the East now, right?
Yeah, I guess if you're going to use that logic. And to be fair, it's actually kind of cold down here, but it's Miami cold, right? It's like 48, which is Miami cold. It's not nothing like 15. But best win of the season, I think, hands down. I don't think that there's any arguing that because you beat Cleveland, but that was at home. You beat New York. That was at home. This was in Detroit. Like, we went into Detroit, and I know that Tobias Harris was an out, but whatever. Tobias Harris was out went out during the game, but for the most part, this was a healthy Detroit Pistons team. Like, this team is the best team in the East up until now, and Miami looked great. Now, obviously, you wish it would have ended a little stronger because it was a dominant performance up until that late in the fourth quarter. But I thought that it was a great performance, and then shout out to Davion Mitchell and even Drew Smith. Because Cade Cunningham, I think, is people are talking about him as like the MVP this year, possibly. And they were shutting him down. Like, he still got like a million points. How many points did he score? He scored 31 points, but it was the most inefficient 31 points you'll ever see. He made 6 buckets all game, 6 for 16. The majority of his points came from the free throw line, 17 of 18 from the free throw line. Like, they did a great job of not letting him get comfortable. So I wanted to make sure, because Davion Mitchell obviously only 8 points, 2 steals. He had 5 turnovers, which is not Davion Mitchell like. But I wanted to start off with him anyway because I thought that the defense overall, but him being the point of attack, I thought that he did a great job defending Cade Cunningham.
I agree. It was a team effort, right? Because it wasn't just Davion. It wasn't just Drew Smith. It was also Andrew Wiggins who covered him for sometimes. It was Norman Powell. It was an absolute team effort. And, you mentioned it. He still had his points. But other than that, the rest of the team did not do much. And so it was a very, very good team defensive effort overall. And look, even Kaz Yakuchonis got in the game, and he had a couple of times where he got to cover Cade Cunningham, and he looked good too. So look, the MVP could be Cade Cunningham, and if he wins it, I wouldn't be upset because he is one hell of a player. But we did a good job against him last night, even though he got his points. But it was mostly from the free throw line. He was 6 of 16 overall from the field, 17 of 18 from the free throw line. That's a lot of free throws to give up to one player. Look, he's a good free throw shooter, so he was able to make his free throws, and that's what was the difference of keeping this game close was the free throws. The Heat took 20 free throws. The Pistons took 31. That's a difference of 11 free throws. That's a lot of that's a lot of free throws.
Yeah. I just blanked. I was going to say, but I do have one gripe because you just brought Kaz up. I'd rather him, because Fontecchio got 6 minutes and Kaz got 6 minutes. I'd rather just give Kaz the 12 minutes.
Yeah, but Fontecchio didn't play that bad yesterday. I know he had a couple of turnovers and he didn't look all that great. And you mentioned it last night. You said that he's basically become unplayable. And I thought in the 6 minutes he got yesterday, he got a 3-pointer. He was able to get another bucket. He had a few rebounds, but look, I think it's going to depend on who the matchups are, who it is that you're playing against, and that's how Spo's going to decide who gets those extra minutes when Pelle Larsson is not in the lineup.
I wanted to go over Khalil Ware and Bam starting together. Khalil Ware didn't have the best offensive output, but he had 13 boards. He had 2 blocks. Khalil Ware, obviously you want the offensive prowess to be more consistent, which is fine, but he is really helping us out with the boards because, like, and I've said it a billion times, I'm almost tired of saying it, that we had such issues defending rebounding the beginning of this year. And this game, Bam 14 boards, Khalil Ware 13 boards. They each had 3 offensive boards. We ended up with 15 offensive boards. Detroit only had 6. Like, these guys are are really killing it on the boards. And defensively, we forced how many turnovers? We forced 20 turnovers. And that has also been one of the reasons why once our defense can get force turnovers and get us on the run, what was it that Spo said? That he said if we play slow, we're not good or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But look, if we force turnovers and we get running, we're a good squad.
Absolutely. And when we rebound the basketball and don't give our opposition second chance points, and we're the ones that get the second chance points. I mean, you mentioned it. 15 offensive rebounds. Where did 6 of those offensive rebounds come from? Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins
Ooh,
with a
yeah.
great game
Wow.
last night. And if you notice those 6 offensive rebounds, I don't have the stat in front of me right now, but I would be curious to know, out of those 6 offensive rebounds, how many of those were putbacks? Because that's usually how he gets his offensive rebound. He gets it right underneath the basket, puts it right up, and it's a point. So if you're thinking 6 offensive rebounds, that could have possibly been 12 points that he
Yeah.
got just from the offensive glass.
Yeah, that's true. He ended up with eight rebounds overall, 2 steals. Andrew Wiggins, and then when Andrew Wiggins saw Duncan Robinson in front of him, he took it to him. So shout out to Duncan Robinson.
Every time. You know how great it was to not be on the receiving end of that?
Yeah. So 2 players that we need to highlight before we get out of here. Um, First off, Jaime Jaquez, he had that play in, I think it was like the last minute, I want to say, where he was back. I forgot who he was backing down, but he went, turned around, biggest shot of the game, knocks it down. They take, at that point, I think it was like a 4 or 6 point lead. But Jaime Jaquez he's looking like November Jaime Jaquez. I don't know what happened in December, but I don't know if it was he started drinking coquito. I don't, something happened, but we got November Jaime Jaquez back, and I hope he's here to stay because he has looked so good taking the ball to the rim. And look, he is not scared of the moment. He took that shot with all the confidence in the world, and he nailed it. I'm really glad that he put the exclamation point on that win.
Absolutely. I mean, he had 13 points in the first half, 19 overall, 5 big assists. If you can see, he had one beautiful assist to Khalil where he dunked it. And yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know what happened to him, the first couple weeks of December. I think it was a whole team. It wasn't really
Yeah,
just Jaime
they started
Jaquez,
playing
but
him different. They started putting
absolutely.
big men on him, so he had a hard time getting to the rim and
Well, and he
forcing
had
him to
to
shoot.
adjust.
Yeah,
And now he
yeah, yeah,
started he learned how to adjust. And
yeah.
now that he knows, what to do, he can get rid of the ball, he can drive it over the big man, he can do a bunch of different things. So he's learning, he's getting better, and he's been fantastic for that second unit. I mean, I think at this point of the year, if you were to give away awards, he's the 6th man of the year.
Look. That's what we were saying in November, and December fell off a little bit. But if he can keep going like he's been doing, I have no doubt that he'll win that award. Nikolai Jovic, bad shooting game, but overall, I think he brings a lot to the table. He just has to get his shooting touch back up. But yeah, so he had a good game. But the person that I didn't want to forget to talk about, because obviously he had one hell of a game, Norman Powell. Even though he kind of, I don't know, he like slept walk through the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened. I thought he might end up with 50, and then he got like what, 2 in the fourth.
Yeah.
But he was an absolute monster. I felt like he was the 3 ball was just everything that he put up was gonna go in. And he has to be an all-star, right?
He has to be. He has
I
to be. I
hope
mean,
so.
he
I
went. He
hope
shot
so.
50% from 3 yesterday. 7 for 14, 12 of 23 overall. Like you said, 36 points. He had 34 through 3.
I think he
We
had
were all
15 in the
convinced.
third quarter.
Yeah, we were all convinced that he was going to go for 50 points. I mean, we were all convinced, but didn't have the greatest of fourth quarters. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Pistons were able to come back and make it so close. Was the fact that Norman Powell, he didn't play the beginning of the fourth quarter because of the rotation, and then when he came back in, he wasn't as effective as he was over the first 3 quarters. So I think really the player of the game, even though Norman Powell had those points, the player of the game for me yesterday was Bam Adebayo. He didn't have the greatest offensive game, only 5 for 14, 15 points, but he had those 14 big rebounds. He had 2 steals, he had a block, and he was plus 17 in the plus minus, the highest plus minus on the Heat team. And that's why for me, yesterday's MVP goes to Bam Adebayo.
We've been talking about our defense and forcing turnovers. It was 2 games ago that everybody got a steal. Last game, everybody but one that only played a few minutes didn't get one. Yesterday, Anybody that played more than 3 minutes. So I'm just taking out Fontecchio and Kaz. Anybody that played over 3 minutes got a steal.
Except for
Nikola
Jovic.
Jovic didn't
Except for
get one. Yeah,
Jovic.
except for Jovic, yeah. And multiple steals. Norm Powell ended up with one, but everybody else got multiple steals. They're very active in the passing lanes. They're swarming the ball. They're blitzing. It's really nice to see what the Heat are doing defensively again. And again, their defense fuels their offense. When we're not defending well, they're not going to put up 120 points or whatnot. They're going to struggle. But if they can get out and run off of turnovers, this team is one of the best teams in the East. I'm not going to say the best, but I have, like we've been saying, I said top 4 in the East, and we're not that far off. Let me pull that up real quick before we sign off. At the moment, they are in 7th place. They are half a game out of 4th place, and then they are 2.5 games out of 3rd. So they're right there.
We'll
They're
be
right
right
there.
there. We'll be right there. I mean, after tomorrow night's win over the Timberwolves, that'll put us right there in 4th, 5th place. After Sunday's win against the
Against
New
the
Orleans,
Pelicans.
New Orleans Pelicans. I was going to call them the New Orleans Hornets. Wow,
Oof.
unbelievable.
Chris Paul, yeah.
Yeah. But after this weekend, we should be right there. We should be 21-15. And hopefully, on Sunday and on Monday we're talking about 2 dubs. But I'm excited. I'm happy that the Heat were able to win on the road and against the best team in the East. The Pistons had the second best home record till last night.
Yeah, that was like their 2nd or 3rd loss of the season at home.
3rd loss, yeah.
And the Heat, look, they've also had some luck, whereas they've just lucked out with teams not playing their stars. I don't know if you saw Anthony Edwards just randomly left the bench when he was playing for Minnesota yesterday.
Tomorrow.
Right, so he might not play. And then you have the Pelicans. Then you have the Timberwolves again. I don't know if Anthony Edwards play. I think this is recruitment time, right? This is not when we start recruiting. Then you got the Bulls on Thursday, which aren't hot. And then you got the Pacers the following Saturday. In the next 5 games, there's like a chance you go like 4-1, 5-0, if you can keep what they're doing up. And that puts you at what, 24-6, then 15, 23-16. Like this team, again, top 4 if they can keep this going. Any final words there, Solana?
Oh man, I'm just excited that the Heat are back. We had a rough couple of weeks there in December, but I think they're back. Obviously, like you mentioned during the show, defense fuels the offense. The defense has been absolutely outstanding the last few games, and that's why we've been able to get the amount of points and win these last 3 games. And so the Heat are on a 4-game winning streak. If you are correct, Danny, and the Heat win 5 in a row, they would be 9
or
straight
just say 4-1. Let's just say 4-1. I don't know. 9 straight wins, yeah, but this team is a little wonky. Like you said, they play down to their competition sometimes. So they'll have a random stinker, which would frustrate the hell out of us. But you know what? They show up for the big ones, hopefully, like they did last night, and that's what you need. So we get 116, 112 against the top team in the East, which by Solana's logic makes us the best team in the East. And I'm okay with that. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. We appreciate you listening on audio. Please leave us 5 stars and a comment. If you watch on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we will be back tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Sunday, talking about Saturday night's victory against the Timberwolves. So until the next one, have a good one. Anthony Edwards is going to be a Heat, man.